Hi, everybody. Welcome to tonight's live stream. I have to confess, I feel a little bit discombobulated this evening. As more people come in, we'll talk more about the recent changes that you would have noticed on the channel. And we'll talk about why those changes aren't important. But welcome, come on in, pull up a chair, get yourself cozy and comfortable, and let's have a chat. Hi, Isadora. Hi, Sin. Happy Monday, my friends. Hope you're doing well. Hope everything's good on your end. So I put a post up yesterday and I said that I was making some changes. It is no secret that I have been struggling as of late. I have mentioned it numerous times over probably the last, 4, 5, 6 months. And I was preparing the February content. I've been working on it for some time, and none of it felt right. And last week, oh, thank you, Isadora. You're very kind. Sin says we had a foot of snow in North Carolina, which is nothing to y'all, but keeps us shut in. Yeah. It was like minus 30 all last week. Keep trying to have a positive outlook on everything going on. Absolutely. Oh, thank you, Sin. So I just want to get this out because I might, I don't want to get emotional. I just want to get it out and we'll get past it. So last week, no videos came out. And the reason why no videos came out is because of what happened in Minneapolis. And the videos that I had planned to do for last week were all about celebrating and stuff like that, and I didn't think it was appropriate, and I really struggled. I went back and forth and how to do and what should I do, and I felt this need to say something, but I didn't know what to say. And I struggled with that concept because, for those of you that know me and have followed me for a long time, I'm not usually at a loss for words. So I sat here one morning, I think it was last Thursday, and I recorded a 35-minute long video where I explained all of that. Uploaded it, created a new thumbnail, went to post it up, all to find out that, guess what? I'd already done that video the week before. And I just started to cry. I literally started to cry. Like, I wasn't sobbing, but I was crying. I feel powerless in this moment. And I feel like the mission, my goal as to why I started this channel, has been lost. Now, I don't want to get emotional, so I'm going to try really, really hard not to. Hi, Ellen. Hi, honey. Hi, Fatima. Someone else came in here and I missed them. Hi, what a lovely day. I love the name. Thank you, everybody. So, for those of you that have followed me for a long time, I didn't start this channel to be a reader. That was never my intention, to be a reader. My intention for starting this channel was to help people that are struggling, that are navigating mental health challenges or other challenges in their life, to create an environment that allows us to support each other, to connect with each other, to lift each other up, to hopefully inspire, support, motivate, whatever. I want to take the blame and the shame and the sting out of saying, I'm having a hard time right now. And I think in this moment that's what I want to do. I want to go back to that. I want to go back to that because I have a lot to say. You have a lot to say. So let's support each other in that. Let's create an environment. We already have a wonderful family sort of vibe here. Let's create that atmosphere and really embrace it. Let's share, let's talk, let's laugh, cry if we have to, whatever the case may be. And I hope that is not disappointing to the people that look forward to the readings. I'm not saying I'm never going to read again. Obviously, I love reading. But in this moment, there are so many readers that I think are better suited for this moment than I am. I think where I can help is creating this kind of conversation where you feel heard and you feel safe and supported. So there will be a reading that comes out as a pre-recorded video once a week on Wednesdays. That was always my Wednesday wellness kind of vibe. And so we will continue to do that. And I want to create this environment that is more like Fridays at the fire pit, right? Where we just sit and we chat. You tell me what's going on. I tell you what's going on. We laugh, we share stories, all of the fun things. Maybe we shed a few tears, maybe we share a few laughs, whatever it might be. And so I hope that doesn't disappoint you. I hope that you support me in this journey. I sort of feel like I've been trying to fit into a box that I have no business being in. And it's a struggle for me. It's no secret that I have anxiety panic disorder, and I am really anxious in this moment. And I just feel like this is what I'm supposed to be doing, as opposed to reading all the time and trying to come up with, what you want to know or what you may need to hear in that moment. So I will tell you that when I made the decision, I felt a giant sense of relief. And when we are living in chaos, no matter what the chaos is, when you are able to free yourself from, that burden, that weight, and sort of release and relinquish the hold that weight then has on you, I mean, honestly, you guys, it's the best feeling in the world. So that's where my head's at. That's what the plan is. I hope that that's okay with you guys. I hope that you will support me. If I lose subscribers because of it, so be it. But the truth be told, I didn't start this to have, a million subscribers. Would I like more subscribers? Absolutely. But I also have to be true to myself. And I think that this is where I want to be, right? Thank you, Fatima. I appreciate that very much. Thank you, Isadora. Yeah, I mean, listen, the political tarot is awesome for, I'm not going to lie. Last night, Marianne from Revealing Light came on. I watched her videos. I watched the lady from Australia. and thoughts and prayers to her. She just lost her mom. I cannot pronounce the name of her channel. I know you guys know who I mean. Her name is Libby. She's a wonderful reader, but I can't pronounce the name of her channel, and I apologize for that. But she's so I watch both of them whenever the readings come out. Of course, Johnny Tarot's Apprentice. I love his readings, and Meister Tarot. That's a great way. Thank you. Thank you, Sin, for helping me with that. And of course, I love Johnny and Lori from the Way of Positive Change. So I do, dive in and listen to the political tarot. But I agree with you, Sin, that sometimes you can go down some rabbit holes, and I'm not speaking for anyone else. Okay. I'm only speaking to myself or about myself in this moment. When you have anxiety panic disorder, in my personal experience, I am already hyper paranoid. I am already distrusting of reality in more cases than not. And I can't afford to go down said rabbit holes. Now, I don't live in America, so I am not feeling what you guys are going through. But the occupant of the White House is threatening my country in a multitude of ways. That fear is so real for me. So real. I am scared crapless 98% of the day. So I can't afford to go down rabbit holes, right? I have to stay away from the rabbit holes. And I'm gonna be very honest with you. I love the connection that I have got, that I have been sort of opening up, exploring, and discovering, and on this journey with spirit. But there are a million tarot channels out there that can give you guidance. I have 1,200 subscribers, or a little less than that now, because I've lost so many. And probably no one knows, nor does anyone care. Hi, Quince. Hi, buddy. Kisses. I spend months planning these readings and trying to give it my best for like 20 views. It's just not worth it. And so sorry, the cat's right in front of the computer. Come here, Quincy, please. Good boy. Yeah, come. There you go. Good boy. You can't stand on the keyboard. And so I just want to go back to not being stressed about the content that I put out. And I've never shared this story with you guys, I don't think. And I want to be very careful in the way that I say this. I'm not sharing this with you to get any kind of sympathy or pity, and I'm certainly not saying it to embarrass the persons involved. So I'm going to say it in a short form sort of way, right? That hopefully you can connect the dots and get the point of what I'm trying to make. I have had people email me and tell me, I care about you as a friend, even though they don't know me. That I shouldn't say that I have anxiety panic disorder, because once I speak it out into the world, I'm never going to heal from it. I've had people send me emails asking me, why do card readers always assume that people are lacking something? I took that as a direct criticism to, like, they were trying to imply that that's the way that I read, and I try really hard not to read that way. I've had people tell me I wear too much makeup, that I shouldn't smoke, my gum is annoying, my cats are annoying. It's not easy sitting on this side of the camera, is my point. And I had another experience. And it taught me very early on about the responsibility that I have on this platform. There was a person that used to come into my chats all the time, and they contacted me. They were in a crisis situation, and they wanted me to help, or thought that I could help. And I spent about 12 to 14 hours trying to do just that. Obviously behind the scenes that no one knew about. I realized in that moment the weight that my words have and how delicate some people's situations are. And that is when I reminded myself of the weight of what I do here. Talking or cards. Those situations have shaped me. They have informed me. And I guess the reason why I'm sharing this is, if I'm not okay, I can't be okay for you. And when I'm not okay, when my mental health is not good, I don't feel like I'm in a place to be giving you guidance of any form whatsoever. But the one thing that I do know, I know stress, I know anxiety, I know pain, I know fear. And whether I'm going through that in the moment or I'm not, I can share my lived experience with you in hopes that you or someone else can gain some insight, some wisdom. You can not feel alone. You can hear someone else's story, those kinds of things. And so to me, that's what this moment calls for. And I feel good about it in terms of my decision. What I am nervous about, very, is that you guys will not like that, because, you know, there's a lot of you that have been with me since the beginning, and I love you for that support. But there's a lot of you that have not and only want the readings. And so I will still do readings. They will not be all the time. Like I said, there'll be one pre-recorded video per week. And we'll sort of take it from there. So leaving all of that aside, just a couple more things about the decision. I made this decision yesterday at about 11 a.m., which, you know, because 11:11 and me just go together, like hand in hand. Anyway, so I made the decision. And I struggled all afternoon. I felt really good, but I struggled. I felt guilty. Like, I should have something to do, because normally my whole weekends are spent right here in this chair preparing thumbnails and preparing videos and all of those kinds of things. I didn't have anything to do. I had nothing to do, no pressing anything. Immediately the pressure was like gone. And I was like, I don't know what to do with myself. I don't know what to do with myself. I went out and I said to my husband, I don't know what to do with myself. I actually feel kind of like it's weird. Like I feel guilty almost, right? Coming back here tonight to do the live. It's like, normally I have to like get my cards organized and like, figure myself out and put myself in the right spot. I didn't have to do anything except for comb my hair. So I hope that you hear what I'm saying to you in terms of how much pressure it has taken off of me immediately just making that decision. I can literally just go. And I'm here. That feels good to me, which means that I feel like I'm able to help, support, lift you up, show up, whatever all of the things that means for you guys. And that was the whole point why I did this in the first place. So now I'm going to go back and read some of your comments because I missed a whole bunch. Okay. Ellen says it's good to remember your mission and use it as a touchstone whether something is right for you. Thank you, Ellen. Appreciate that. My husband says, seems like unless a creator is doing political tarot, the views are very low to non-existent. YouTube is a huge, it is not easy. And whether anyone cares about this comment or not, in terms of like being a creator, put it into Google, type it into YouTube. You'll get like 4 different answers. It's crazy. Ellen says, frankly, I'm starting to withdraw from the news and political tarot. I'm already anxious and feel a need to work on my personal life. Absolutely, Ellen. I mean, that's exactly the way I feel, right? Isadora says, Americans love the Canadian people. Thank you, Isadora. And I love the American people. Sin says, I'm leaning more towards reading cards for myself, just oracles. Listen, oracles can be a great tool. If you get yourself, and you can share, Sin, if you want, what kind of decks you're using. Like these little mini decks, because I have all my cards right beside me, these little mini decks, like the Chakra Love, I don't know how much they cost now, but this was like $15 at the time. It was a couple of years ago that I bought this off of Amazon. They've all got different colored backs. And then you guys have seen these cards 100 times. And then on the front, it gives you like a chakra and then a message. It also gives you a crystal that you could use. This is a great kind of like, inexpensive little tool that you can pull this every morning or pull it every night or something like that, right? And for anyone out there who's looking for like a generic, oracle deck that you can use for just about anything, I highly recommend the following decks. The Sacred Forest Oracle is like one of my favorite decks. It just speaks to me. I think it's good for many different styles of readings. The Native Spirit Oracle by Denise Lynn is a great deck, in my opinion. I don't use, you guys know this, I don't use many decks that where I read from the guidebook. This one in particular, I do, and the messages are beautiful. And so if you need that, I want you to think of it like a record playing, and you take the and you sort of scratch the arm, the needle, accidentally, not intentionally. This is a great deck for that moment where you sort of feel like you need a shake up, right? Like to sort of snap you in or out of whatever. And also, I think this deck is worth its weight in gold. The Sacred Medicine Oracle. I love the artwork. I love the messages. I think it's like on point all the time. Mark says, I applaud Kelly for sticking to her morals and not doing political readings while only getting double-digit views on average. All right, honey, you can stop trying to sell me. I appreciate you, though. Fatima says, and all the Canadians love you guys also. It's a menace. It is the menace in the White House and his minions that we have a problem with. I have family in the States. Love you guys. Thank you, Fatima. Isadora says, F them, Kelly, just be yourself. I mean, I'm trying to, right? I'm trying to. Ellen says, good Lord, how could people be so petty to me? On that point, Ellen, there's a girl that I watch on YouTube, and I'm not going to say the name of her channel because I don't think it's appropriate to make the point that I'm making. So she has two channels that I'm aware of, and then other social media platforms. One channel is like really successful, and one channel is equally successful, but not as successful as what I would classify as her main channel, right? Anyways, this girl is happy all the time. She's positive. She has a really lovely sort of spirit about her, if you will, right? She's like a smile on a sunny day, right? Kind of vibe. I have recently learned that she has sites dedicated to hating on her, criticizing her every move, her hair, her makeup, her house, her decor. That she announced that she was having a baby on her channel, and they thought that was, bizarre. And like looking into like her past, like way before she ever became a content creator. And I shake my head and I think to myself, like, how do you get to the point where you want to dive into a person's life that you don't know, that is a stranger to you, who has a lifestyle channel on YouTube? Like, what could she possibly have done that upset you that much, that made you that invested in what she was doing, that you thought, you know what, I need to look into her background because something's not right? Like, do you not have anything else going on in your own life or your family's life or your neighbor's life or your friend's life or your coworker's life that you could maybe, or in your neighborhood, maybe you could like volunteer somewhere, put your energy there? I don't get the hate. I was watching another lady, another lifestyle channel that I watch, on YouTube, and she was sharing comments on the screen. She never said their names, but she shared a couple of comments that she's received recently. She is a single mother, and she was talking about how she was able to buy her own home. Obviously not details of her actual purchase, but like the way in which she connected the dots, right? How she got a mortgage, that kind of thing. The comments that she shared that she has received were referring to her as an it and a thing. I don't understand the level of hate and negativity and cruelty. Like, people can be so ignorant And I don't think that I don't care how positive you are or how happy you are. We are human beings and our skin is only so thick, and everyone has an off day, a bad day, a day when you're feeling less than 100%, and those things can literally knock you off your pedestal. And it's so sad that there's so much hate and so much negativity in this world. It truly is. Since some people aren't happy unless they have something to complain about and someone else to criticize due to their own shortcomings. 100%. And what's difficult about that, I mean, because we've all done it, right? We've all judged people. We've all looked and went, ooh, but like, I would just unsubscribe or stop watching. I'm not going to put a comment on someone's page saying, I don't like the way your hair looks. Like, unless it's a hairdressing channel, what does that matter? Who am I to say that? I don't get it. Isadora says, Kelly, I look forward to seeing you no matter what you decide to do. That's very kind, and I appreciate you. Thank you for saying that. Sin says, I think it takes courage just to do a YouTube channel. Sin, I didn't think that it did. I was one of those people who had a misunderstanding of what it means. From the beginning, the people that have come into my chat, many of them I knew from the other chats, the other rooms that I was in. And so immediately it felt family vibe to me. And I felt safe. And I've probably overshared way too much stuff about my personal life. When you get talking, you forget that there's a camera on. Even though I'm looking at myself, I forget that I'm on camera and this is going out to everyone. And that's all wonderful if you can have that kind of environment and you can be open like that, until someone says something to you that cuts you like a knife. And unfortunately, I think that almost every creator will experience that. And there are some that you can discount and others that you can't. And that is when you start to sort of work up or work out your own sort of boundaries and your own sort of code of ethics as to how you're going to approach this, doing a channel going forward. Because there is this, in my opinion, misunderstanding about how this all works. So I make the decision that I'm going to start a YouTube channel, and I invest whatever I invest, whether that's my time, my effort, maybe I need tools, a camera, lighting, internet, or whatever. I put that out. It's my choice, my decision. You come into my chat, you like what you see, you like what you hear, you subscribe. There are some people that think that because they subscribe to a channel, that the content creator now is in a binding contract with them, and that when they snap, that content creator then should say, how high would you like me to jump? Yes, ma'am. No, sir. Whatever the case may be. When it comes to like memberships and super chats and stuff like that, there are people out there that will give money to a content creator, which we all know. If you gifted someone something, if I said to you guys, okay, here is my selenite heart, I would like you to have that, Sin, and you take that, you cannot then in good conscience turn around a month from now, 2 months from now, 3 months from now, and say, you know what? She stole that selenite heart from me, and I hate her now. And that is what happens. There are so many channels on the internet that, I mean, because once you get past a certain criteria that YouTube sets up, we have no control over as content creators. You have the ability then to super chat and to have membership and buy merch and so on and so forth. And there are so many channels that have people giving them money, like in forms of super chats, donations, whatever you want to call them. And then those same people, they gift them that because in that moment you felt like I wanted to do that. And then turn around 2 months later and bash them because, you know, I gave them money and now they've decided that they're better than me, or they don't need me, or they don't like me, or, you know, I then came in the chat and they ignored me, or they didn't answer my question, or whatever the case may be. And it's really sad that is the way that it goes. It's very the best word that I can think, and I don't even know that this is proper English, so forgive me. But it's very disenchanting, right? Because it's only good when it's good, right? Ellen says, we love Canada and its people. I've traveled to British Columbia, Nova Scotia, Quebec, and Ontario. What was your favorite place, Ellen? Or did you have one? Nassim says, I have some angel oracles I like. And the Amanda Ellis Self-Mastery Oracle. Interesting. I've never heard of that deck before. Let me know if it's good. And Ellen says she has both of those Denise Lynn Oracle decks that you recommended. Love it. Another good one is Sacred Traveler. Whoops, sorry. I blew that moment. Yeah, I love it. Mark says that we are truly blessed to live in a great. We're truly blessed to live in such a great country and lots of snow. Laugh out loud. Snow shine here. Yeah. Mark had to go out and do the snow blowing before I come on tonight. Ellen says, this is what I think too. Someone's life must be very empty if they have the time and energy to send hate email to people on YouTube that really don't even know. I mean, that's the thing. Like, and I'm not using you as an example, Ellen, but like I would know you if I walked past you on the street. But because you watch me, and I don't mean you specifically, but because people watch me, they think they know me, and like I get that. I understand that I take that risk as soon as I hit that camera, right? Which goes back to my point about the boundaries and stuff, right? And sometimes, you know, people are just going to hate on you because they want to hate on you. Like, you know, I had an experience that was just, I mean, I talked about it. I don't really want to go on about it, but it bears in mind, like, this thing went back and forth and up and down and side to side and all over the place. And you know, I tried being nice and kind and talking about it and even emailing about it. And I finally just had to say, like, you're blocked, get out. Because you can't come in here and do this kind of stuff and be so disruptive. Like, I can't allow that. Isadora says, if I ever had a YouTube channel, I would never show my face or say anything personal. I get that. But it's hard, you know. And I mean, I respect that, but that it's hard not to. Sin said I'd show my eyes and mouth but cover my wobbly old chin. Oh, stop. Oh, stop. Speaking of wobbly old chins, can I just say to you that the other day, I don't know what I was doing, but I caught myself in the mirror and I was like, thank you, mother, because of this. Speaking of wobbly chins. Ellen since there are a lot of AI copycatters now stealing other content, I mean, it's terrible, right? Like, there's a lot of the like political, I don't even know what you call those, like political commentator shows, political news shows, whatever. A lot of those shows are being copycatted now. Ellen says, I love them all. They were all different from each other. And Isadora says, ha ha ha. All right. So, hold on just 1 second. I'm going to show you guys or attempt to show you something. I'm going to show you the side of our house from our ring bell here, or our doorbell, or our cameras, or whatever. So this is the buildup of snow at the side of our house. Good night, Ellen. That's the buildup of snow at the side of our house. It's snowing right now. It's not a good shot of the I was trying to show you what the street has, but it's not a good shot. So I can't. The weather right now, just so everyone knows, not that anyone cares, but I'm going to show you what the weather says, or read it to you. Okay, so right now it is -6, which feels like -12. Can you share the link that you left in the chat? What is that doing for me? Oh, okay, I get what you're saying. Okay, hold on, you guys. I can't copy it, Mark, so that doesn't do me any good, love. Is it on your channel, honey? I mean, how bad is this that I'm on camera and talking to my husband out in the living room? Okay, Mark, I cannot share a tab that I don't have any link to. I can't copy the link. Is it on your channel? That's what I'm asking you. Okay, sorry you guys. I don't know why we're having a conversation in this chat box and stopping my stream to have the chat. I don't know what he's going on about. Anyways, it's -6 here. Feels like -12. Of course, that is Celsius. And tonight during the evening, it is -11, going down to -18. This Saturday, Saturday. It will be minus 17 during the daytime and minus 20 during the nighttime. The good news is that Willie, Wyerton Willie, who is the groundhog that we use to find out whether we're going to have an early spring or not, he has predicted that we will have an early spring, which means that hopefully we won't have snow still in April. So there's that. So we're all very excited. We're all very excited. Last week it was so cold. Oh my gosh. You got 60 centimeters of snow? Yeah. You guys got hit. I mean, it snowed here for like 5 days straight. I think we got more snow in the beginning than you guys did, but then Toronto got way more than we did, which is like odd. Like that doesn't ever happen. So I want to share with you guys. So my husband went away, right? And on business, right? He had to go away for I think it was like Sunday night to Wednesday, right? And before he was going, he was like running around like a fart in a mitt, like he was all concerned, right? Are we going to be okay? And I'm like I'm an adult, I can handle this, I will be fine, right? I'm like, I've got a car, I've got a phone, everything's going to be fine, don't worry about me, right? Oh my God, you guys, honestly, it wasn't 5 minutes and he was gone, and I was in a panic. Excuse me, I almost choked on my gum. Anyway, here's the story. So no sooner did he leave, and I heard a noise in the basement. Our basement isn't finished. It's like a dirt floor basement. And it was like minus 25 or some crazy number like that. Like it was stupid cold out. And I heard a crash. And I was like, what in the hell is in the basement? Anyway, so crash in the basement, the dog's barking, the cats are freaking out. It's like minus 20 some odd. I'm thinking, oh my goodness, the pipes are going to freeze. It was like the worst 3 days. So I think actually, if I'm not mistaken, I phoned him one night, like while he was like asleep. I'm like, I need you to call me. I've lived here for it'll be seven years this September, and I've never been in the basement, and I will never go in the basement. So there went out my window my, I got this, don't worry about me. Oh my gosh, I'm such a wimp, and like I never used to be a wimp about stuff like that, but I mean, I'm just like whatever. Anyways, it was kind of one of those you had to be there moments, but yeah, it was funny. Well, it turned out that it was a red squirrel. Sometimes a mouse or a squirrel has somehow infiltrated the basement. As Mark says there in the chat, it's like a stone foundation. So, there's lots of crooks and crannies, and never had one upstairs in the house, double touch wood. But every once in a while they get into the basement when it's super, super cold. And that's what it was. So there was that. What are you going to do, right? What are you going to do? Yep, absolutely, because it was so cold outside. He was looking for a safe place to go. Like in the backyard, the snow is almost as high. You guys are familiar with my backyard and that little sort of like raised garden wall that I have with those little cedar trees. They're, I think, 4 or 5 feet tall, and the snow is almost to the top of them. And that's already like 2.5 feet above like ground level because it's like the hill starts to go up there, right? We probably have a good 5 or 6 feet of snow in our backyard. It's crazy. Oh, you do too, Fatima? Yeah. Oh, well, you guys. I just thought it was funny because I was going on like, oh, I got this. Don't worry about me. It'll be fine. And I'm like, oh, I couldn't even make it like past the first night where I was like calling for help. Call a friend, right? This week, my husband is going to go to IKEA. I can't turn my camera around so you guys can see it, but over here, I used to have those open bookshelves, right? And I got rid of them because I wanted closed-in storage or some more closed-in storage, right? For those of us that live in old homes, we know there is no storage. So, I bought these cabinets, and because they're all closed in, I don't have my stuff around. And I don't know what it is about my stuff around me, but it just makes me feel calm. It makes me feel like grounded, and it just like it just makes me feel good, right? And so I was like, I need a something in the middle of these two bookcases. So he's gonna go and get me that this week. Not making a special trip to do it, but he's going that way anyway. So he's gonna get that for me. And of course, oh my gosh, I have been I have a problem with pillow covers. So not like pillowcases, but like cushions that you put on like the couch, like a throw pillow or whatever. I love a good cushion cover. And we don't have access to them like y'all do in the States here in Canada. So we have limited places where we can go and get them. So where he's going to get my bookcase is a good place to get pillow covers. So I have been in there like almost daily going, ooh, that one. No, I don't need that one. Ooh, yep, get that one. No, oh, I can't get that one. Oh, yeah, I want that one. So I'm getting a new duvet cover set. You see that one on there. That's a winter one. So this one is like lovely flowery kind of vibe. And I'm going to get some new cushion covers and my bookcase. So I'm excited. I decorated for Valentine's Day out in the living room. I sprinkled a little bit of love around out there. I've never done that before. I found at the dollar store, I found a couple of little Valentine's things and I put those out. You know, they were cheap. Just a little shot of color because after the Christmas holidays with all the color, everything just seems very bleak to me, right? So I did that. And Valentine's Day is on a Saturday this year, which is interesting. So there'll be lots of people doing things. What are you guys going to do for Valentine's Day? I hope you're going to show yourself some love, obviously. I think that's where we need to start. I really feel that message this year so far in the year, that is the message that I sort of feel the most, I guess, lined up with is, you know, loving myself, starting start the work in the house, my house, me. And once I build that up, I can then, sort of spread that out, if that makes sense. Lots of chocolate. You guys, I have been so bad. Like, I don't like desserts. Apple pie, cake, cupcakes, whatever. Like, I'm not that person. But you put chocolate in front of me and it'll be gone. I don't know why, or how, but I bought Hershey's Kisses. They were on sale because when I went to the dollar store, well, I didn't go to the dollar store, my husband did, but when we got the Valentine's stuff at the dollar store, we got the Valentine's chocolates, the ones wrapped in foil that are shaped like a heart. And I went through those. So I had to get Hershey's Kisses. I'm terrible. But you know what I do is I'll buy like a pack of the mini chocolate bars, almost like the ones you give out at Halloween. I don't know. They're like $3 or $2.50 or something like that for like, 8 or 10 little chocolate bars. And so I don't feel horrible about that. It's like a little snack. I don't drink coffee. My husband drinks coffee. I drink tea. He drinks coffee, but his coffee definitely is expensive in terms of like buying it initially. But if you work it out, it's not, if you know what I mean. You have to look for sales. Like, to buy a regular sized chocolate bar, that you would buy and, like to eat for yourself, is over $1 here now, which is crazy. Same as you, Fatima. Ontario. I think that's where you are, right? Because you said about Toronto. I heard your coffee is, I don't know, something like it went up like 63 some odd percent or some kind of crazy number like that. Which I don't even understand that. You're in Ontario. That's what I thought so. Isadora says, I shop at Aldi's and it's even getting expensive. Listen, everything is getting expensive. It doesn't matter where it is. And the problem that we have with all of this is, all of these prices were exacerbated by the pandemic and then exacerbated by the tariff situation. And I think that if I have any wisdom to impart where that kind of stuff is concerned, as a Canadian, I have learned that we really do, as a people, have the power. And what I mean by that is when, and this is no offense to my American friends, but when the tariffs first were placed on Canada, we as a people decided that we were going to boycott. And the boycott was because we were being told two things at the same time, right? That, number one, we don't need anything from you. You don't matter to us, from the government of United States. And number two, that basically it wouldn't matter what we did. They were going to hurt us economically. Them is fighting words. You know what I mean? Like when you threaten someone's livelihood, like that's not cool. And so we decided to boycott with our wallets, and we started looking for Canadian made products. And so we don't buy Lay's chips. We don't care that the Lay's factory is in Canada also. Lay's is part of the United States. Anyway, the point that I'm trying to make is that the prices have been expensive for a long time. Excuse me. And the people, I'm saying people, I don't care what country it is, people think that the government is in charge of that. This whole nonsense about, affordability, and we have all heard the occupant of the White House go on and on and on about groceries and affordability and blah, 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 and yada, yada. And the Canadian politicians do the same. Here's the problem. The government, my understanding is that they don't have any control over how much, Joe's grocery store charges for milk or bread. The people, on the other hand, can show the stores by choosing which store to shop in that, you know what? I don't appreciate you doing that to me, right? I've got a family to feed, I've got bills to pay, blah, 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 so on and so forth. Do you know what I mean? And what I noticed that they're doing, at least here in Canada, I don't know about in the States, is you go on to these like shopping apps, right? Whether it's the store app or like an Instacart DoorDash thing. And like the bag of milk, the loaf of bread is like 2 cents more expensive than it was last week. Or the eggs have gone up a cent. It's not like it's jumping from $5 to 10. It's going up from like, $3.90 to $3.93. And you're like, wait a minute, what? And they keep inching it up like that. Nothing has happened in the last month that wouldn't cause a price increase. Nothing has happened in the last month. Here in Canada, where I live, nothing has happened. So why are my prices going up? Just from like 2 weeks ago. Because you know yourself, you buy the same stuff all the time, right? You buy the same milk, the same bread, the same eggs, the same vegetables. Oftentimes we buy the same things in repeat, right? And so I think that the power is with the people. And if you want to get your message across, that's what you need to do. You need to share information with your fellow community members and say, like, I had an experience. So we have a chain of stores here called the Real Canadian Superstore, which is like a division of Loblaws, right? And we have one of those stores in my town, and I go into the app and I order my groceries online for pickup. So my husband goes and picks them up. And you can buy, they had a roast on sale, but you had to buy it as a family pack. So that means, like 2 of them. And it said that the estimated price was, I think it was 25 something, right? Like $25 and a few and change. So if it was 27, if it was 28, I would have been okay with that, right? Because it's approximate. It was $41. $41 $51. It was almost a whole roast worth different. When it comes to a $15 difference, I expect that you're going to call me, you're going to notify me, you're going to email me, you're going to something, right? I'm not joking you. So I called the store. I had to get on the chat. And then I had to call the customer service number. Then I had to wait 10 days to get a refund. But here's what I learned while I was doing that. I am calling a Canadian grocery store, right? That when I called customer service, I was calling United States and talking to the United States about my Canadian grocery store and my issue. So that taught this one here. I'm not spending my money there anymore. Now, I don't know if it's true in my thought process that the reason why the prices are going up at that store is because, you know, you are extending yourself out there and they're dealing with all the stuff that they're dealing with. I'm whatever. Like, I'm not down for that. I want to support local. And so that's all there is to that. What, Fatima? Share it. Share it, my friend. Tell me. Yeah, absolutely, Sin. The price is going up a bit. Yeah. So just to go back to what I was saying in the beginning, what the government can do is the government can certainly regulate corporations in terms of, you know, like one grocery store chain owns all the grocery stores in a particular community, right? So, like, you have no option, you have no choices. Or you have, say you live in a community where you have like a lot of like independently owned mom and pop shops, and then, you know, a big box store kind of chain comes in and puts them all out of business. The government, whether it be municipal, federal, or you know, provincial or state level, they can regulate those kinds of things. They can put laws into place about price gouging. You know, here in Canada, we have rent increases. Well, I don't know that it's Canada-wide. I shouldn't say that. At least in Ontario it is, right? That the rent can only be increased by a certain percentage in a certain amount of time. Why can't they do that to food? Why can't they do that to food? And here's my point. If you're going to talk it, then you should be doing it, right? Don't come out here and talk to me about affordability if you don't have any control over the price of food. Right? Now in the United States, it's a little bit different, right? When you're you know, when you're putting all the tariffs on stuff and then people are choosing not to buy from there, that's different. Like with the beef thing and, you know, and then the immigration thing and like taking all the workers off the farm, that's a little bit different, right? They have a hand to play in that. But in terms of like the price of the food, the government can't really control what a store charges you, but they can certainly make it so that it's not as obvious as it is, and it's done in a different way. If that makes sense. That's just my opinion. So Fatima says, my husband works in a warehouse for Canadian Tire Goods, like returns. Guess where his paychecks come from? Comes from the United States. They hired FedEx to pay the workers. Wow. Yeah. I mean, here's the thing. Like, so the other day I was listening to, oh, what's his name? A House Representative in the United States, Jim McGovern. I believe Jim is his first name. McGovern is his last name. I don't know what state he's from, but his name is McGovern, and he's a House rep. And he was, it just like it was like a clip that someone had on their show of him talking. They had just come back from their holiday vacation, right? The Christmas holidays. And the bill that the Republicans were fighting about on the floor was about shower heads. I am pretty certain. I mean, I am not a U.S. citizen, but I am pretty confident that I can say that most of the people that I know in America don't give two flying craps about their shower head. With all that, the other things that are going on. And so I guess what I'm trying to say to you is that we can't believe everything that they tell us. And when they tell us something like the affordability deal, we need to hold their feet to the fire. We need to hold them accountable. And no matter where you live, we have seen in different periods of time that the people have the power. And so I say to anyone who's listening, don't take your foot off the pedal. Keep your foot on the pedal, on the gas, and keep doing what you can to allow your voice to be heard, whether that's on a social media platform, whether that's talking to your friends, whether that's volunteering at a campaign, calling your representatives, calling the newspaper, like wherever you live, right? The power of your vote, the power of your voice is important, and you need to exercise it at every corner to keep these people that you employ in check. We cannot afford to be complacent anymore. We can't. Where has complacency got us? Complacency has got us to this point in time where everyone is walking around lying to your face, telling you that you didn't just see what you saw with your own two eyes, telling you that you are crazy for thinking that what you just witnessed is what you just witnessed. And we pay those people. Their salaries come out of our pockets. And they stand there and lie to you in the face and tell you that the thing that you saw is not what you saw. That did not happen. It was totally not the way it was. It's exactly the way that it was. And we have, as global society, caused ourselves a mental health crisis because people are trying to convince us that things are not the way that we see them to be. And in addition to that, we have been silenced and become complacent because we are fearful. Right? You can't dare say anything. You'll lose your parents, you'll lose your friends, lose your family. People will hate on you. I could say how I feel. I'm allowed to. As long as I say it with respect. This reminds me of something that I learned a long time ago. In a former life, I used to work in a group home for developmentally challenged individuals. And I won a course one time about making choices. That's not the name of the course, but basically that was the curriculum. And I haven't forgot about you, Fatima. We'll get back to that. Hi, Ron. How are you, my friend? And so, while we were in this course talking about making choices, the thing that I thought was so interesting is at the end of the day, many of us adults didn't recognize how many choices we have to make in a day. And it started a really great conversation about choices. And with like a ... to that, also then the perception of what is a choice. So for example, I could say, it is my choice if I want to work. And another person could say, I don't have a choice, I've got 4 kids in a house. And I could say, well, what I meant was it's my choice where I work, like what job I do, right? You get my point? The choices are the choices that we are making in terms of, who represents us, who we send. Imagine if you, back in the day when your mom used to write you a note and tell you to go to the store, get me this, and give you the money, bring back the change, right? We send those people to Congress to fight for us, to represent us. They're like our advocates. And so to use the story that I was saying before about this Representative McGovern talking about how they came back from Christmas, and remember that the Speaker of the House shut down the House because they were fearful of the vote on the Epstein file. And when they came back from their Christmas vacation, the first thing that they wanted to talk about was not ICE or the price of the healthcare premiums that had exploded or were gonna that had exploded on December 31st, I think it was. They didn't want to talk about any of that. No, they thought their first priority of business should be about shower heads. Because of all the craziness that's going on in the world, no one is talking about that. And that's what I mean. I don't care how big it is. I don't care how small it is. If you feel some sort of way about it, you need to get on the horn and you need to put your pedal on the gas and let them know. Like, that's not why I sent you there. All right, now let's go back up here and see all the things that I missed. Okay, so that was that. Okay, Sin says, our representatives have done diddly squat for us over the last year. Yeah, except for cause chaos and stress and mental health challenges at every corner. Mark says, don't be discouraged, it will eventually change for the better. Fatima says, I'm happy that my husband is turning 65 in April. If things get bad, he retires. I also will retire next year in March. Well, congratulations on that, Fatima. That must make you feel like there's like light at the end of the tunnel, right? And that's just a good feeling, knowing like things are coming to a close. It's really disheartening when you find out that things are not, like, to your comment before about your husband, it's really disheartening to find out that things are not the way that they were presented, right? I've heard this comment before, and I've thought about this statement before, and there's a part of me that agrees and a part of me that doesn't agree. I think that overall, I agree with you. I don't give it a whole lot of weight, though, and here's why I don't give it a lot of weight. When something is good, we're happy with it. And then when it's not good, we're not happy with it. And we were happy with the way that it was going. and everybody was getting by and doing their thing, and then all of a sudden it went to hell in a handbasket in a hurry, and now we're all outraged. I'm not saying we don't have a right to be outraged. That's not where I'm going with that. I don't know about in terms of here's what I'm trying to say. And I learned this with my anxiety therapy stuff, right? Sometimes it is important to know why, and other times it's not. And in this case, I don't think it matters. What matters is focusing on like how we change it for the better going forward. Does that make sense? I don't know if that makes sense or not, but that's kind of how I feel about it. I'll tell you the thing that I think as Canadians that we need to be very concerned about. And I'm grateful to Prime Minister Eby of British Columbia for saying so at the Premier's conference the other day. And now everyone who has a platform who does Canadian political commentary is talking about it because they should be. The people who are behind the separatist movement in Alberta talking about officials in the US government giving them a line of credit to separate from Alberta from Canada. That is something we all need to be having a discussion about. Because that is not cool. No matter how you slice it, no matter how you dice it, that is not cool. That is the thing we should all be talking about because it affects all of us. Whether you're in the United States or whether you're in Canada, it affects everybody. Now, I have heard that it is 500 million with an M, and I have heard that it is 500 billion with a B. I do not know what the truth is, so I can't speculate. But in my opinion, I don't care if it was $1. Why is another government giving a group in another country any money whatsoever to remove themselves from their country? That's called treason. And definitely warrants further investigation. Again, that's just my opinion. Now, we have Ron in the chat. I think he's still here. Ron is in Quebec. We know, because, certain people are of certain ages, that Quebec wanted to separate from Canada for a long time. We also know that Alberta wanted to separate from Canada for years. And that's okay if that's what you want to do. Because everyone is entitled to their opinion and their thoughts and their feelings, etc., and so on and so forth. But when another country, another government is paying you to do so, that's a problem. It was on City TV News, I don't know, just a couple of nights ago, Ron, where the guy who's leading the separatist movement in Alberta said on the news that they were given this line of credit by the current administration officials. I don't know what that means, but that's what he said. He said that on the news. So it's not like me making it up or hyperbole. That's what he said. I mean, it like the thing, the nonsense that goes on is crazy. In terms of the comment that you made, Fatima, about the dependency, right? We have a contract that was signed, you know, when Trudeau was our prime minister, for buying these F-35s, I think is the number of the plane. They're war aircraft. And I do not know all of the stipulations of the contract, but like what I do know that I feel confident in saying is that there was a contract that was signed, that we were going to buy an initial number of said planes, and then eventually over time it would grow to another number. The price of the planes has changed like 3 times. It's now like it was originally 18 or 19 billion or million, and now it's changed to like 27.7 million or billion. Uh, Apparently we can't operate or sorry, we can't maintain these planes in Canada. They have to all go to United States if they want to be, if they need service or upgrades or whatever. So let's just say something happens. We're in the fight of our lives over here in the Great White North, and a plane breaks down. We got to send it to United States and be like, sorry, just take us out because we can't service our own planes. I mean, how ridiculous is this? And so Carney has come in and started shopping, and we have had an offer to produce the Gripen, which is a Swedish-made aircraft, as far as I understand it. And they have sweetened the deal by saying that they will set up a shop, a manufacturing plant, a service center, whatever you would call that, somewhere in Canada, and it would bring about 12,000 jobs to the community wherever this, shop would be, where they will, make them, maintain them, et cetera, so on and so forth. And so Carney and his government, his people, are trying to navigate that deal. And the U.S. ambassador to Canada, Pete Hoekstra, he's a lovely person, just so not Canadian. He threatened us a couple of weeks ago by saying that if we backed out of that F-35 deal, then that means that the United States, can fly into our airspace any old time they want. And basically, you better buy them or else. That's not his first time saying those kinds of things to us. It is a threat. It's an absolute threat. And so Sin brought up we're lucky to have Mark Carney. I think Mark Carney is the right person for this moment because he seems to be above the fray, right? He is down to earth enough to understand what is being said, and he is intellectual enough to know how to respond and when to respond, right? And that's what I mean by being above the fray. So he's not falling for the poke the bear routine, right? When another country is telling you that you don't deserve to exist, that you are not worthy, that is a problem. And no matter how many times Americans say and Canadians say, we know that the government and a very small fraction of the population that worship said government, are like, no joke, like we could take you, like, we could do it in our sleep, like, what does Canada have, like 4 soldiers, all this kind of, it's nonsense. We are the United States' biggest customer, and the United States needs to think about that. And that, and I don't know how they work it out. I don't. But the one thing I know is for certain is that I can confidently sit here and say that there isn't a Canadian that I am aware of that is like, oh yes, could I put a bulletproof vest on my children and myself and go to America where I make $7.25 an hour, take the risk of getting shot if I step outside my house or send my child to school, be lied to constantly, have my taxpayer dollars being taken away from me at every possible opportunity from the president of my country. Have my wages garnished if I dare to try to educate myself or my children by going to a college or a university. Because apparently that's a thing. If you don't pay back your debt, they're now garnishing your wages, which is like ridiculous. And go medically bankrupt if I break my toe. There isn't a Canadian that I know that is like, oh yeah, sign up for that. I mean, we have, you get hurt at work, there's repercussions here. People say something to you, there's repercussions here in terms of like, harassing you or something like that at work. We have prenatal care and abortion rights and free autonomy over our bodies. If we get sick, we can go to the hospital. We don't have to worry about losing our home, no matter what age we are. Our minimum wage is like $17 an hour. I don't get it. I don't get it. But I do get the stress and I do get the fear, and it's real, and we shouldn't discount it. And I also, I think that, and this may not be a popular opinion, but I also don't think that we should not listen to what they're saying. You have to put yourself in the right mindset to be able to stomach it, to be able to listen to what the other side is saying, because that's the only way you're going to learn how to change their minds or to change their opinions or to change the narrative, right? You have to be open to having a conversation or listen to them to be able to then counter that with another point, right? And we have the same problem here in Canada. Don't let anyone tell you that we don't. We've got a bunch of people in Canada that think that Donald Trump is like the end all be all, that we should be more like America, right? Blame Justin Trudeau. He was a horrible prime minister, blah, 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 blah. We're too woke. I mean, we've got a whole party that is like just play by play. Everything that comes out of Donald Trump's mouth comes out of their mouth. We got a whole party like that. So it's just, here's what I don't understand, right? I'm a human being. I'm not on the left and I'm not on the right. I'm on the human being side of things. I care about people. That's what I care about. I don't give two craps, about policies per se. What I care about is people. Nobody should be othered. I don't care who you are. I don't care what color you are. I don't care where you were born. I don't care what race you are, what religion you are. This business of othering people that we do, and I'm saying we, the royal we, has got to stop. And a fine example of the othering is this exact thing that we were just talking about with the separatist movement in Alberta. There are treaties in place. Alberta does not belong to the Premier of Alberta. The land that calls itself Alberta has been leased to that province, most of it, by the indigenous peoples of that land. If those treaties are not upheld, you want to talk about othering? It's disgusting. The way that a certain person, the current occupant of the White House, comes out and classifies a whole group of people as being, horrible or bad or whatever the case may be. I mean, we all know that person. We've all been around that person that does that, paints everybody with the same brush. But we know different. We know that that's not the way that it is. There are bad apples in all the bags, right? But you cannot paint an entire race of people with one brush. You can't. I don't know how we got here. I don't know why we have arrived at this destination. I hope to God that society learns something from this point in time, because it is getting disgusting. Right? We go back all the way to the beginning of when I started this, and I was saying about people saying like horrible things to people online. Like this, I don't know. It's like loud and angry, and this this operating from a place of grievance, like the world owes me something because I showed up. That's no. I have this theory, and I don't know if it's right or not, but it's like, you go to work, you come home, you're focused on your house or your kids, or maybe you just are focused on like a hobby that you do or a craft, or, maybe you just want to relax. If everything is going well in your life, or relatively well, like normal, right? Or you have lots of things that, you keep yourself busy, that's what you're focused on. And as long as you don't come up against these giant roadblocks or big challenges, you're okay. You're in that mode. And so outside noise can be shut off really easily. You sort of insulate yourself without realizing that you insulate yourself. And then we have these other people. And when I said before about, I think it's important to listen to what they have to say, I don't know about you guys, but I have tried to go to the other side, listen to their points of view. I am blown away, first and foremost, by how many of them there are. They are loud. They are obnoxiously loud. Like, they won't let you, as I'm venting my brains out, ha ha ha, but like, they won't give you a chance to respond. They don't take a breath. They're just like, bam, 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 right? And I see that, and it's just my personal opinion, but I see it as operating from a place of grievance. Like everything is, well, what about this and what about that and how come this and well, that happened then. Like nobody, none of, I'm saying again, the royal we, they don't seem to be living in the now. They're like living somewhere else. Do you know what I mean? And like from a psychology standpoint, I don't get it. I feel like every news, major media outlet, you know, the ones that we should be watching, if we're going to watch any, should have like a psychologist or a therapist on with them to like explain to us why they're so aggrieved. Why are they so angry? I mean, I got stuff I am angry about. I'm sure you all have stuff that you're angry about, but like at some point we need to get on with it, right? We can't just sit there and keep going on about it for like year after year, day after day, month after month, because like you're not solving anything. You need to like, you know, relieve yourself of the weight, right? Like I don't get how you can be motivated by that kind of fear and anger, hatred, whatever you want to call it, or a combination of many things that propels you in any direction but down. Like that doesn't lift you up. Now, in some cases, some of those like podcasters and stuff, it's elevated them. Yeah, sure, they got all kinds of money. But I can't imagine as me, the person, having like what would I have to do to prepare to go out and do one of those podcasts or to like get on a campus and make a speech or whatever the case, like so angry, right? I just because I live with my anxiety, I know what that fear feels like and I know what that fear can do to you if you cannot control it. And I don't know how those people operate like that. I do not get it. I don't get it. And it scares me for people because I think like you could be so much more effective if you would just like breathe. Maybe you have a valid point. But all I hear is like when I was like a little kid and someone was shouting at me. I don't hear a point. At least that's just my take. All right, I'll shut up. All right, backing up. Sim says, I know that attitude is sickening. I agree, it is sickening. He knows how to deal with the Trump Putin. Yeah. Don't know how we'll survive this, but we're trying. So sad, so many brainwashed. I agree. I mean, it definitely seems like people are brainwashed, for sure. Fatima says there's a few people that work with my sister that want to be American. We said you become American, you lose all your Canadian rights. One example, healthcare. Now think before you speak. I mean, here's the thing, look it up, right? Like this isn't me making it up. Last time I looked this up, it was approximately $26,000 to have a baby delivered in America. And then you have to go back to work like a week later or 2 weeks later or whatever it is, right? Because they have no rights. No. Some 30-year-old, you know, who's having her first baby is not really going to take too kindly to that policy now, are they? Yeah. Oh my God, Isadora. I don't know how these things come up on my feed, but I found this thing last night where these two children, these are like a family that lives in the United States. So there's two kids who, like they're adults, right? Who don't live in this, like with their family anymore. They live in different states. And they are like, I don't know that they're liberals. I don't know, or Democrats. I think that they're like more probably independents, but whatever. Their parents are total MAGAs, right? And they have their parents on with them. So mom and dad are down here in the corner, and then the two kids, right? Talking about like the Epstein files, talking about what happened to, in Minneapolis with the two American citizens being killed, and the little boy who was deported with the bunny hat, the Spider-Man backpack, and so forth, and such issues as this, right? The allegations of corruption, all of the things, and like the dad was like saying the most horrific things to the children, in my opinion, saying to them that, like they're losers, and like they've always been rebels, and that they're communists, and I'm sitting there watching it, like my heart's breaking for the whole family, not just mom and dad or the kids, but like all of them together. Like, how do you get past that? You know what I mean? We've all had people say things to us that hurt us, and we carried it for a long time. The daughter saying to the mom and dad, like, I don't know what happened to you. You weren't like this when I was growing up. And then the mom, you can tell that she loves her kids and that she cares, but she also loves her husband. And I almost felt bad for her, because it's like she's caught in the middle, right? Because she's telling him, like, stop it. It's almost like like she had like embarrassment almost. It's just, it was, here's the thing. It was an interesting thing to watch, not because you were watching a family being, sharing way too much. It wasn't interesting for that, because I don't want to see that. But what was interesting is the lack of understanding, the lack of I know you, and I love you. I care about you. Like, I know your heart. I know where you come from. So I want to listen to what you have to say. There was none of that. There was no give and take from a point of, like, I get you. I'm shocked that you just said that, but because I love you and I know you and I trust you, I'm gonna listen to what you say, and I'm gonna treat it respectfully. Like, there was none of that whatsoever. And I've never experienced that, and so I've heard lots of people say it, but I've never experienced it. And so for me to watch that, I can imagine, my family when I was growing up, and the things that we went through, and how some of those things divided us, but not this specific thing. But I can at least put myself in a position where, like, I kind of get it. But to have to cut off ties with your family because of politics is bizarre to me. It's bizarre. I can't. So I mean, I just, I can't. Yeah, I don't get that at all. I really don't. I'm going to share with you guys. So, when I was growing up, I don't like to speak ill of my parents, but this is an example of what I was talking about, in terms of, like, I try to put myself in that, I can relate to an experience growing up. So my parents were married for 5 years before they had me. And when I was about 17 years old, they started to have some serious problems. And it lasted for about a year. And then my father left for good. My sister is 5 years younger than me, almost. Closer to 5 than 9. Her understanding of what was going on was different than my understanding of what was going on. Our whole family dynamic switched in that moment. And it was difficult for my sister and I to navigate that for a little while. Because it was like she sided with my mom and I sided with my dad. Even though that's not the way that it was at all, but that's kind of the way that it felt, right? And so that dynamic that I was watching the other day, I could put myself in a place where I would feel split. But again, it was about our parents. And it was much more emotional to me, my lived experience, and what that was, because to me, having your family split up over politics seems, like your family splitting up because somebody likes orange juice versus apple juice. Like, that's just insane to me. But, I can't discount their pain because I don't know what they've gone through other than what they shared with us on the screen. And it was brutal. Like, I found it difficult to watch some of the things that the parents were saying, specifically the father. It was hard to watch. And it's hard to know that there are people like that are out there. It's hard to know that. It's really, really hard to know that. I showed my husband like 3 minutes of it, and he was like, I can't listen to that. And you shouldn't be either. And again, I went there because, it came up on my feed, and I thought, well, this seems, like it could be worthwhile, because, like, I'm one of those people, I need to know why. And so I'm really trying to understand why. Like, how did we get here? How did we become so disengaged with reality that all we do is repeat misinformation, lies, untruths? And at what point did we become so resilient that, and I use the word resilient in a facetious way, because we operate from a place where we're not resilient, meaning we're affected by what's going on, but we're resilient when the facts are being presented to us, or when misinformation is being presented to us. We're resilient to that. We're like, we just bounce back, like, it's not a biggie. When people are lying to you to form your opinion, or to change your mind about something, to invoke a feeling within you, that's a big deal. And it should not be overlooked. They shouldn't be given a free pass for that. When it affects you having to be cut off from your family, you shouldn't give them a free pass. Like, I think one of the results of this that is probably, I don't think it's a shock to anyone's system that I'm going to say this, but I don't think that the globe is prepared for it. But I think one of the big takeaways from this whole episode that we've been sort of locked into for the last 10 years is going to be a global mental health crisis. A major global mental health crisis is what is going to be the result of this. You cannot bring human beings to the brink repeatedly, over and over and over and over again, without having a whole lot of damage. there will be so many people that are traumatized, that have forms of PTSD and anxiety and stress and panic disorder. You will have, I mean, if you think about it, right? Like in the pandemic, everyone was freaked out because they were locked away. And now, and this is just me assuming, and I shouldn't assume because you know what it does, but I am assuming that a lot of people probably just want to stay locked away. Like just leave me alone. And shut the world off and just be in my own space, right? Because that's where I feel safe. That's where I feel like I can like be myself. And the other thing that's going to come out of this is that we're all going to, 20, 30, 40, 50 years from now, we're all going to be like, history really does repeat itself, doesn't it? And why do we not learn from that? But it's the same as the pandemic, right? While we were in the pandemic, everyone was losing their mind, freaking out. Oh my God, this is the worst. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And then as soon as the pandemic was over, we were like, woohoo, party on. We learned nothing. We learned nothing. There are people telling you that what happened didn't happen, that it's not the way that it was, that like no plans are in place. I mean, has any legislation or policies or procedures or handbooks or programs been introduced that I am not aware of that have taught us that this is what we're going to do if this happens to us again? Nope. Not that I'm aware of, it hasn't. And how has that helped us? Many of us have asked ourselves and asked each other and our friends, people that we're close to, people that we trust, when is this going to end? When is this going to be over? What's it going to take? What's the next? What's the cliffhanger here, right? And I think that speaks to the mental health crisis that I'm referring to, where you're just sitting there going, please, 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 please. Like when you're doing this, when you're watching a scary movie, like it's like that. Yeah, it does repeat itself. And the reason that it repeats itself is because we don't learn. And I'm saying again, the royal we, right? Collectively, the world doesn't learn. We cannot continue to walk into a brick wall and not expect that we're going to walk away with a bruise or a scrape or worse. I don't know how we shift that. I don't know how we navigate that. And I'm not trying to be smart when I say that. I'm just being honest. Like I don't have all the answers, but I think that there's comfort in numbers, and again, like not to like circle back, but to circle back to make a point. That's why I started this channel in the first place, because that's where we were at that time. So we're in that moment again, and I feel, as I said in the beginning, that's why I want to make this shift, right? I want to go back to this, not me bitching about the government, but just building this feeling where you can talk, where you can share. I don't care what it is, right? Well, I think I agree with you, Isadora. I think what the pandemic did is it gave people permission to say how upset they were, right? How they were affected, and we want people to share their voice. But what it did is it seemed to elevate the angry, right? The people that operate from that place of grievance. Like I don't know that one person person was affected by the pandemic any more than another person was in terms of, the sacrifices that you would have had to make. Now, obviously, if someone that was got COVID or horrifically passed because of COVID, obviously you were greatly affected, more so than other people were. But on the surface, we all had things that the pandemic put in front of us that we had to make decisions about, is kind of what I mean, right? Good night, Sin. Enjoy your cup of herbal tea, my love. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you. And so that's all I'm trying to say, right? We all had to figure out how we were going to navigate that. No different than any other challenge that you've had in your life. And this is one of those moments where we have to figure out how we're going to navigate this. But the thing that I try to remember to keep myself on the right side of things is that there are more people that feel like I do than not, and that's the important bit. I'm not out here, alone. I'm not facing this by myself. I'm not trying to me versus the world. There's more people that feel like I do than people that don't, and that gives me comfort. I also believe in people. I believe in the power of the people, I guess, is the best way I can say that. And I think that if we put our faith in the power of the people, and stay true to ourselves in that sort of space, that we will see our way through this. I don't think it's going to be pretty, and I don't think it's going to be necessarily easy. And I also think that we need to appreciate how we've managed it so far, because it's been really trying, right? Emotionally, and obviously for others, that have had to deal with, their families being ripped apart, or their neighborhoods being terrorized, or, their healthcare premiums tripling, or, all of the things. There's many people that have been greatly, greatly affected by what is happening. And I think that we have to take a moment and stop and appreciate that we have survived to this point, and we still feel a little wobbly. I don't feel defeated in any way. I don't feel like, evil's gonna win kind of thing. I don't feel that at all. I feel like this has to play out the way that it's playing it out, and I have faith that when the time is ready, that it's gonna, the switch is gonna flip, that it will. But I do try to stay informed and try to maintain some sort of stability through that. And so the whole point of me coming on here tonight was to say hello to you guys, to do my live, to address the change that we've made. There'll be more chats like this. We won't always go down the government rabbit hole. But if that's what you guys want to talk about, we can talk about whatever you want. It's just going to be us chatting and supporting each other and lifting each other up and celebrating successes and all of that kind of thing. And I think that that's what we need in this moment. So I thank you for being here, and I hope that I can count on your support as we navigate through this time. I'll probably lose a bunch of subscribers, and that's okay. People are entitled to watch whatever speaks to them. But I hope that you stick around, obviously. And that's about all I have to say. So I will say goodnight because we've been on here for 2 hours already. I thank you so much for being here, and I'll schedule another live in a couple of days, and we'll meet back here and have a chat. Okay? So you guys go. Have a good night. Thank you again for being here. Stay safe. Stay warm. Stay out of trouble. Oh, thanks, Fatima. Thanks, Isadora. All right. Bye, everybody.